How has your experience been like being a Maeci scholar?
Having a scholarship is really cardinal for studies because you don't have to stress about finances. You get to completely um, focus on your studies because that's what we came to do here. So it gave me the opportunity to just really focus on getting good grades instead of worrying about my finances and what's next. So I think it made my experience smooth.
Hi guys, hello, welcome to the channel. Today I have with me Mildred and she'll be sharing her journey. But then if you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Anne and on here I do talk about life and study in Italy. And then I have Mildred here. She's here to come and share a journey like of moving to Italy and being on scholarship and everything. So like let me just allow her to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Mildred Chamba Munjunga, and I'm currently a student here in Italy at the University of Siena.
Okay, so can you like tell us a bit about yourself? Like when did you move to Italy?
I came to Italy in 2021 during the COVID period to come and pursue my master's degree in biodiversity, conservation, and environmental quality. So that's when I came.
Oh, okay. So can you tell us like a bit about the process? Why Italy? Like how did you even come up across the school, the application process and everything?
For me, my my case was a little bit different from everybody's. I actually applied for the scholarship before applying for the admission. So my cousin's friend, who was studying at the University of Pavia, sent her a link about the Italian government scholarship, and she forwarded it to me. So that's how I got to apply for the scholarship. Usually, you apply for admission, then apply for the scholarship. And when I was applying for the scholarship, of course, I had to put about 3 schools that I would want to attend. So I used the study portal to check for a number of schools that of interest to me, as well as the programs that are in line with what I did during my bachelor's. And of course, I had to make sure that the program is taught in English. So that's how I found 3 schools. I applied for 2 programs at the University of Venice and then 1 program at the University of Siena. Yes.
So, so okay. So when you I don't know, while you were writing the names of these schools, I don't know. Was there a possibility because you did you think for once that you may be granted this scholarship and then you might need to actually have applied to these universities?
Oh no, I actually didn't. I really, I really didn't. I was just like, I was on my phone with my cousin. I told her, this is impossible. There is absolutely no way that I can apply for this scholarship. And she was like, you know what, Mildred, we're going to do this. 1 a.m. She was there searching for schools with me. She's like, check this program. Do you like this one? Do you like this one? It's similar to what you did. So we went back and forth and then came up with the schools and then just stuck them on the application and forgot about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I was
So
called for the interviews. And I was like, oh, I actually need to apply to school. Yeah.
so I don't know. Were you able to tell them that you had actually not applied to the schools yet after they called you and they announced you that you had won the scholarship?
Oh, yes, I did. Because the scholarship is pretty competitive. A number of us were interviewed, and only 2 people managed to get the scholarship. And then after I was granted the scholarship, I told them, oh, listen, and that was around August, going into September. So admissions had already closed for
Closed.
October, I know, right? Yeah. So I had to tell them, oh, actually, I accepted the scholarship. I want to go and study. Unfortunately, I missed the deadline to apply for admissions. So is there a way that you could help me actually talk to the school and apply for admission? And they're like, nope. If you don't get the admission, we're giving the scholarship to whoever is on the waiting list.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to hustle.
How was, I don't know, how was the application process? Because now you know you have to get get into a school for like them to give the scholarship to you. How was it
Yeah.
like? How were you able to, did you apply to all of these universities that you placed on like the scholarship application, or you just choose one and apply to that university?
So actually, when I had, this is the thing, guys, make sure you apply for admission before applying for scholarship. That's my advice.
Mm.
So when I had listed the scholarship, the schools for the scholarship, actually, they were about two schools, of course, two universities that I had listed, and the University of Venice was my priority school. So when the scholarship later came, the offer later, it was written, oh, congratulations, you've been offered to study at the University of Venice to study this program, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have admission there. I didn't have admission anywhere because I didn't apply, and I couldn't go to study portal and or go to the university website to actually apply because the application deadline had already passed.
Mhm.
So what I did, and this is something that people really don't think about when they're in such situations, is that sometimes you can start school late. Like the university would allow you to come to study, like they give places at discretion. So I had
Hmm.
to apply. I had to look for the university emails. I emailed both schools, and I told them I'm asking for admission. These are my grades. This is my motivation later. This is my scholarship. I just need you to give me admission to come to school. Yeah. And the University of Venice, of course, they were like, no, we can't. We cannot. The University of Siena, they said we can't guarantee that, but we can try to talk to the program coordinator and see, maybe perhaps they'll still have room for one more person, but it's not guaranteed. So I was just there waiting and waiting until I got feedback, and they're like, okay, we still need to evaluate your transcripts and see if it's equivalent to the Italian standard. And that's how I got my admission later on.
So was it just by the email that's like, your email to them that they considered you for admission, or you actually had to go and, okay, I was going to ask you, you actually had to go and apply. Then I'm now wondering, where would you go and apply since the applications have been closed? So
Exactly.
what did they like, what did you do exactly?
I actually just found the emails for the school, like international place, you know, like whoever's email I could find the school website. And I was like, oh, my name is this person. This is what I need, and I attached all my documents, and I said, oh, at your discretion, please give me an offer.
Wow. Wow.
And they
Yes.
responded via email.
Your story is unique. Like,
It is.
it's so unique.
Guys, don't try this.
Don't try this.
No.
Don't
Yeah, I
try
could have
this.
lost my scholarship, but
I'm telling you.
I mean, what's meant for you is meant for you. So
That's true. That's true. But then I think there are a couple of people that actually don't know this as well. They feel like
Mm.
the moment you get the scholarship, they will automatically, you will automatically get admission to a university. So I feel like it's not only you, the
Yes.
number of people that also don't know, they are not aware that you actually have to
Mm.
apply to a school before applying for this scholarships.
Yes,
Because
that's
a couple of
true.
people thought maybe the schools that you put there, after you get the scholarship, they are just going to, you know,
Ah,
mhm, they are just going to get
no, no,
selected by
no.
no.
But there are those situations. There are situations like that because I remember when I was applying. Firstly, before moving here, I was applying to Sweden at the
Hmm.
University of Lund, and when you're applying for the scholarship, you simultaneously apply for the schools as well. So you have to indicate the program. So you're applying at the same time for two things. So
Wow.
I think that maybe that's where
It's
the
where,
confusion
yeah,
comes.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But in here, it's actually not like that. So,
No, it's
okay,
not.
now you have the admission, the special, admission from the university. How I know as a Maeci scholar, you might not really have to do much with the visa application. But then, can you tell us a bit? Was there a need for you to show proof of funds and all the other documents required for visa application?
Yes, of course. Immediately, I got the go ahead from the admissions office. I had to submit my papers for an evaluation to get a declaration of value, which I had to resubmit to the school. And then afterwards they gave me, of course, the offer letter, which stipulated how much I had to pay. So I had to submit a number of documents for my visa application, of course, my admission, my scholarship letter, and I also needed to submit a bank statement with about 6,080 euros. So that's like the requirement for students, whether you're on scholarship or not. That's the general requirements, that you need to have about 6,080 euros in either your account or your parents' account has to show that they earn at least that much as proof of funds, because the scholarship, they will tell you that no, of course you're on scholarship, but the scholarship doesn't kick in until like 5 months later,
Mm-hmm.
although it kicked in a little bit earlier than that.
Earlier.
So just to know that you have secured funds, and uh yeah, like that's the requirement. And I think the other thing is that it depends on the embassy, because certain embassies, like they're in specific countries, they're a little bit strict or they are not too strict. In my case, I did have to have the money in my account, so I took the bank statements with the amount, which was a lot of money, of course,
Mm-hmm.
compared to my currency. And they were just like, nah, this is not your money. Immediately we give you the visa, you're going to withdraw that money. And yeah, so we need you to actually prove, at least get your guardian's bank statement or something like that, to really prove that this is how much they have, this is how much they earn annually. And so I had to go and get my uncle's bank statement. And then they were like, this is not your parents' bank statement. We need your parents' bank statement. And I told them it's not possible because I don't have parents. This is my parent. This is my guardian. I'm like, okay, where are the legal adoption papers? And I was like, oh my goodness,
What?
there is no adoption in Africa. Nobody, people just leave their kids. You know, if your parents die, you're automatically adopted by your uncle.
Yes.
So I was like, no, that's not great. This is a signed affidavit. Is stating that I'm related to this man and he's going to take care of any financial issues that might arise. So yeah, then they accepted that. But they are quite stiff, like they are specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So you had to go and get an affidavit.
I had to go and get an affidavit which states that I'm related to
Mm.
my uncle, signed by the court. And I also got his bank statements to prove that he earns annually that the amount of money that they were requesting for. Yeah, and that was sufficient. So
Wow.
within, I applied for my visa. Within 2 days, I received my visa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's so so good. So guys, if you're watching, please just like she said, while applying for the scholarship, ensure that you apply to a university first, and then outside of that too, until recently I thought probably with Maeci scholars you don't really need because another student that I actually helped with her, the embassy told her that yeah, so I think you're actually right because they were like, we know you've won the scholarship, so you don't really need that much funds for the proof of funds. But then we need you to have a bit of money in your account so you can even borrow.
Mm.
But then, unlike your situation, they were like, they need you to have the required amount, which was the 6,000. So I think it depends on your specific embassy. So you guys
Yes.
just always have to follow the instructions and the requirements stated by your specific embassy. How was the entire process of you getting your documents and registering for your hospital card and everything?
It was a tough one. Trust me, it was tough. Before coming here, of course, the embassy told me you need to pack warm things because it's going to be winter. I came on the 28th of October, so it was when I arrived. It was really cold, and unfortunately, because I didn't really follow the procedure, the school procedure, I didn't apply for accommodation. I just rented out an Airbnb for like 2 days, and then I was like, oh, when I arrive here, I'm going to be on the streets because I don't know, like I couldn't find any affordable accommodation in that specific time because there were a lot of students that were coming. But then I came, I had saved up some money because I had this study abroad dream. It's just like I need to go and study abroad someday. So I was already saving up my own money. And of course, my family as well contributed some money for me. My siblings, my uncle helped pay for the tickets. And then I had to pay for my own accommodation. I had already saved up. Yeah, and that's how I came, stayed in the Airbnb. Then I moved to another Airbnb until I could find accommodation. So I didn't budget properly because the first Airbnb that I stayed at for 2 days, I spent like 60 euros. Then the other one that I spent about another 2 days to 3 days, I spent 120 euros. Yes, yes. So then I kept digging into my rent money until I managed to find accommodation. And the lucky enough, the people where I was staying at were really nice. They helped me talk to whoever I contacted asking for accommodation. They would talk to them and say try to make like a deal with them until I finally found where I'm at right now. And that's how I
Wow.
moved into this place. And immediately I got my contract, which was like a month later. Then I paid for my rent.
Okay, okay, okay. So is it like your own space or a shared space?
Oh, it's my own space. It's a 3 bedrooms house. Each person has their own room. Then we share the kitchen and the bathroom. But yeah.
Wow. What are some of the skills you found to be necessary for students to be able to get better opportunities, like better job opportunities out here? Because you've been here for a while. It's like you've been here for 2 years.
I'll just mention three. three that I think are key. If you're coming to study in Italy, the language is a must. For you to get a job, any kind of job, that's the first thing they're going to ask you. Do you speak even a little bit of Italian, or do you have a bit of understanding of the language or anything? So the language is very key. Um, Networking is also very key. When you when I mean you need to go out there and network with other professionals, attending different types of meetings, webinars, workshops, or conferences. It's going to help you to integrate yourself into the working world instead of just confining yourself to studies. Because opportunities are out there, not really in the classroom. And then lastly is having a digital skill.
Mm.
Like I didn't think that coming here I would need like computer science skills. Like, I thought Excel, Microsoft, it ends there and that's it. But no, my program requires me to have a little bit of some programming. If you want to compete with the locals, you need to have some sort of digital skills, because this place is like a tech world. So I think that would go a long way.
I would agree on you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that is actually really true. You need to have tech skills. Like today, it's like everywhere. You just need to have something that puts you above when you're applying for job opportunities and all of that.
Mhm.
But then I quickly want to ask, on average, what are some of the like the expenses, average expenses for students, like
Mm.
in your city, your region, based on your experience?
Sienna isn't very expensive, but it's neither cheap. It's like neither there nor there. It's the rent is quite expensive. The food is cheap, like very cheap.
Okay.
But when it comes to rent, electricity, and gas, it's super expensive. So I think um I would say 400 euros, maybe. That would be like the average.
A month,
330,
including rent?
350, 350, like for your bills. I think it would do, excluding food.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I think it would be in that range, 350 to 400. Unless you're staying in school, because they have a fixed rent. You pay 250 euros. You don't have to pay for gas or electricity. But if you are staying in an apartment like me, it's a whole different story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true, because sometimes there are some months the bills will come and then yeah, just like that. So obviously,
Mm,
just as you're mentioning, like if you're in school, as long as you're not paying and is that fixed amount, that is it. That's
yes.
where, but then the disadvantage here on your own is sometimes the bills can come in and they are very,
Mm.
like, they're a bit high and you have to pay for them on your own. So that is actually like really, really true as well. So, like, how has it been like studying in Siena? And then, like, how has the experience been like when you moved in? I don't know, how easy was it making friends, getting accustomed to the culture, the way of life, learning the language? Like, do you mind to share a bit?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy settling in. Honestly, because I had a slow start, missed a couple of classes, and when it was COVID time. So,
Mm.
but then with time, I got to get close to my course mates. Although I would say people here very communities are particular. So you can't just infuse yourself into one.
Telling you, it's true.
Yeah, and me being the only Zambian here in Siena makes it really difficult. I don't
Mm.
really have my own community here. So I'm either in the Kenyan community, or sometimes I'm leaning towards the Italian community, but because of the language barrier, it's così così. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
That's
otherwise
true.
the education is it's really really good. The education system it's good, and the food is great. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been a wonderful experience.
A wonderful experience.
Mm,
That's true. Thank you for sharing that. I believe, like, even though it's you're not able to find exactly a community, like any community at all, any, whether Kenyan, Ghanaian, any community at all, as long as it's an African community, like you're good to go. You feel welcome.
yes, yes, that's true.
I want us to touch on something which is a bit touchy, which is racism. It's very sensitive topic. But then, as international students moving anywhere in the world, people actually really want to know is like, how is it like in this country I'm moving to? Like, do they treat people well? Am I going to be, because of my
Mm,
skin color or anything like that?
mm,
So I want to ask, like, based on your experience, have you had instances, has there been situations where people treated you differently or
mm,
poorly just because of your skin color or anything like
mm.
that?
Not exactly. Maybe because people here are quite friendly. So I haven't really experienced anything that I would say, oh, this is racist, so to say. But I mean, one time I wore my afro out, and I went to class, and everybody was just staring at me. So I wouldn't say that's racism. I think they were just like, oh, why is her hair so puffy?
That,
They're just wondering. And my
yes.
classmate, she was like, "Oh, your hair looks so beautiful." But you know what they say about don't touch a black girl's hair, and then she accidentally like tried to touch my hair, but like to make it look like an accident. I think they're just intrigued, most of them.
You're in scholarship, absolutely fantastic. Like, have you tried looking for any student jobs? Have you worked any student jobs in the last 2 years of being in Italy? And how easy was it finding that job?
I haven't really tried to do any student jobs. I mean, they do, like the school has like tutoring jobs. I wanted to apply for that, but unfortunately, every email that I receive on my student email is in Italian. Okay, now that's where the racism comes in. Yeah, so it's very difficult to find like student jobs, but they are there like in labs. I haven't just really focused on getting
And
any, but professors do give like studentships to students that are seeking such opportunities in their labs. And if you have a project, there are also like tenders that can be won, so they do advertise on your uh, website, your student web portal. So if you want to apply for that, you can apply. Opportunities are there, but it's just difficult to get them.
okay. You made mention of the fact that, the information that is sent to you, they are in Italian. Like, for the last 2 years, have you tried to kind of like, how has it been like picking up the Italian language? Like, how has
Mm.
it been like personally for you?
I did go to class for like 4 months or so, just so that I can get a basic understanding. It was a very frustrating process.
Really?
I had to give up, which is not a good thing to say. But yeah, the teaching methodology for me, it wasn't really effective.
Okay.
Because the teacher couldn't even say a single word in English. I'm at a beginner level. If I'm going at A1, I need you to help me learn the basics, you know, and you teaching me throughout, like in Italian throughout it, it's just like you're hitting a wall to get a different reaction or something. I don't know, but it was too much for me. So I kind of gave up on the class, but now I'm trying to get back into it. I got a book, and I think I'll just do a self-paced study.
Study. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry about your experience. I had the same. Actually, I remember the first time I went to class and my professor was like, the language professor, she was like, I was also doing A1 and I was like, please, can you speak in English? And she was like, no, if you want to actually learn the language, I have to be speaking in the language. And I don't know how, but then she was
Eventually.
actually she was actually right. She was like
Wow.
actually right. um yeah, it took a long while. I believe sometimes some methods do not work with others, some
Mm,
methods actually do work with others, but then sometimes in between she try and put in the English translation of something. She doesn't understand English that much. She was more of French and like other languages. We the
mm,
English speakers were really struggling because she didn't understand. But then, like just like what your professor said, your language professor, that's what they all believe. Like,
yes.
yeah, we must teach in the language you want to learn, and then you pick. That's how you pick it. So I'm just sorry that that didn't work for you. I think you should check
Yeah.
some channels out. I'm going to send them out to
Mm,
you like personally. And then anyone else that's kind of like trying to learn the Italian language and you're kind of like finding difficulty, you can try and follow like Alberto. Is someone that teaches the natural way of learning like the Italian language on YouTube. Like your channel has
mm.
been so helpful. So like for the past 3 years of being on a scholarship, studying in Italy, meeting people, joining community, like how has the experience been like? Do you think Italy was your best decision, like for your masters?
Yes, definitely. Definitely it was I mean, there are a number of countries that I could have gone to, but I guess this is where I was meant to be, and the experience has kind of opened up my mind to like the possibilities in the world, you know. When you live, you learn a lot by exploring. So being in a different environment, traveling,
Mm.
meeting different people opens your minds to the world. Yeah, so I think it has really been worth it.
So with your program, was there like did you kind of like take a year abroad or a semester abroad? Was it involved in your program?
It was like a number of people went on Erasmus. So we have Erasmus for studies. So you can take like maybe 3 months or more to study abroad anywhere in the world. Or you can also do an Erasmus traineeship. So you can go to an institution, a university, or a company, and you work there for a specific period, maximum of a year. And the school funds everything. So it's you just need to apply for it. And but for me, I really didn't jump on the opportunity to do Erasmus for studies because I was trying to get my my credits to
Mm.
renew the scholarship. So I was like, I can't afford to put the studies here on pause if I don't have the credits to reapply for the
Mm.
scholarship. So I had to forego that opportunity. And then now I'll be going for the Erasmus traineeship after I'm done with my studies, because you can either go during your studies or after you
So,
graduate for a maximum of a year.
wow,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. That's good. Good. That's so good. So I don't know, like if you really want to share, are you excited about the traineeship? Are you looking to applying to some countries, like either in the EU or somewhere else?
Yeah, I actually tried to apply to Canada. I also applied to Germany. I applied to the UK. In the UK, I applied to an institution. Germany as well, I applied to it, no, a school. Yeah, it was a university. And Canada, I applied to universities. And then the professor that I got a positive feedback from uh, was currently doing a project in Spain. So he said we can do the traineeship together in Spain instead of Canada. So that's where I'll be.
Wow, wow,
Mm.
wow, 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 wow,
Yeah.
wow. How was your experience being like being a Maeci scholar, like winning the scholarship? How easy has that made your entire studying in Italy?
Having a scholarship is really cardinal for studies because you don't have to stress about finances. You get to completely um, focus on your studies because that's what we came to do here. So it gave me the opportunity to just really focus on getting good grades instead of worrying about my finances and what's next. So I think it made my experience smooth.
That's so good. Thank you for sharing that. What advice would you give to anyone that is looking to move to Italy and that is also looking to, apply for the MICE scholarship when it opens for the next academic year?
I would recommend studying in Italy. Honestly, it's been wonderful for me. So I would recommend if you want to come to study abroad, like on a scholarship or without a scholarship, Italy is one of the cheapest places you can study. Their fees are like almost nothing. The school fees are less than rent, so I would recommend coming to study abroad. And the Maeci scholarship is one of the most prestigious scholarships. So if you have that on your paper, it speaks volume for you in any room. It's a very easy scholarship to apply for. It's not cumbersome like the other
Yeah.
scholarships. So
Mm,
you just definitely need like an hour and you're done with it. So I would definitely recommend applying for it.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for coming on and for sharing. So before you go, guys, Mildred has a channel, like and you can also follow her on Instagram. I'm going to allow her to leave her details. So you guys go follow her, go subscribe to her channel, and then you also go follow her on Instagram. So Mildred, do you care to share your details with us?
Yeah, sure. My channel is called Chamba Academy, where your study abroad dreams can be a reality. That is our motto. So
Yeah.
definitely check it out. And my Instagram handle is Chamba Munjunga.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave all the details just mentioned in case you didn't catch that. I'm going to leave it like in the video description. So do well to go to the video description and then subscribe from there. Like directly, it will take you to the channel, and then you subscribe from there, and then you also do follow her on Instagram. So thank you guys so much for thank you so, so much for coming on. And I'm really so grateful that you were able to come on for this episode of the Lenses series. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Chum. Thank you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you so
And
much.
thank you guys also for, coming on to kind of like listen and, join us on this episode. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.